What's your observation on small cells, which is more versatile in densely developed environments? Is it becoming an important niche market?
So small cells, I mean, I think I kind of coined a term when millimeter wave spectrum began to be deployed, that we kind of need to talk about small cells, and then you talk about kind of massive, a massive number of small cells that would be necessary for millimeter wave deployment, so that millimeter wave would have continuous coverage. Today, I would say we really just have a normal small cell network. In a city like New York, you'll have a cell site that will be at the stoplight at a corner. If it's a long block, you'll have a cell site at a street light midway down the block, and then you have it at the next traffic light. In New York, they have a process where it's pre-approved. It's a specific design that all carriers have to fit their equipment into, and it has been approved by the Internet Department of New York City. So that has streamlined, I think, the deployment in those markets, just because there aren't a lot of questions that still have to be answered. You have to fit within our solution to work. But that's kind of an unusual case. Most of the time where the small cell deployments are occurring, you'll negotiate with one city, and then you'll have a boundary, and that, across the street is the start of the next city, and that's a whole new negotiation that, it'd be nice if it was seamless and it would be the same as you moved between each of the communities. But that definitely is something that slows down and challenges the deployment. Probably the other thing I would just say on small cells, because I kind of talked about millimeter wave, is those small cells were really like what Verizon has deployed. Those small cells are designed for what I call their lower midband spectrum, which in the US we label as being the PCS spectrum and the AWS-1, AWS-3 spectrum. So what Verizon now is doing is putting this upper midband spectrum on the same sites, but they'll also need to add additional sites because the 3.7 gigahertz spectrum doesn't reach and potentially doesn't touch the next site. So they're going to have to potentially come back and add sites between the small cells that they have today.
Is there an estimation of when they'll start adding more cells?
I mean, they're rolling out their 3.5 and 3.7 gigahertz network right now. What I would say, kind of from my experience deploying cell sites, is if you already have a small cell up, it's relatively easy to go through the process to add additional equipment. So that can occur. So they got their frequencies from the C-band auction probably 2 months ago. They could probably do that in about 6 months. But at the same time, they probably start the process to get additional sites, but that may take up to 24 months in the US. So they'll have gaps potentially likely in their network until that site gets approved through zoning and permitting and construction, and then they'll finally be able to essentially cure that problem.